Before we begin, take a slow, gentle breath and let it soften your whole body. There's nothing you need to focus on, nothing you need to remember. Just allow yourself to drift as we travel together into a world that is quiet, simple, and wonderfully uneventful. Tonight, we step softly into ancient Mesopotamia, a place where life moved slowly, where routines rarely changed, and where the peaceful repetition of daily tasks can guide your mind into deep, restful sleep. In the earliest moments of the morning, long before alarms or clocks existed, the people of Mesopotamia woke naturally to the first touches of sunlight. The beams of light slid through the small gaps in their mud brick homes, warming the cool air inside. There was no rush to get up, no urgent tasks awaiting them, only the gentle awareness that another day had arrived, a day that would look almost exactly like the one before. Outside, the land was calm. A faint breeze carried the smell of river water and damp soil from the irrigation canals. Night birds still called softly across the fields as the sky shifted from deep blue to pale gold. Inside these quiet homes, people stretched slowly on simple mats laid across the floor, easing stiffness from the night. They did not stretch for fitness or energy, they stretched because that was simply how bodies greeted the morning. Children rubbed their eyes, already knowing that the day would offer few surprises. Mesopotamian life was predictable and in many ways beautifully boring. Most mornings began in silence, with families preparing a simple breakfast. There was no variety, no modern choices. Bread made from barley was the main food. Dense, slightly coarse, sometimes still warm from the previous evening's baking. On special days, there might be an onion or a small piece of goat's cheese. But in most households, breakfast was a quiet, familiar moment shared without hurry. People ate slowly, not out of luxury, but because there was simply no need to move quickly. After breakfast, the day unfolded gently. Mesopotamia was a land of farmers, and the fields shaped the rhythm of life. People stepped outside to check the irrigation canals, walking at an unhurried pace beneath the rising sun. Every morning, they looked for cracks in the mud brick walls of the canals. A crack meant water leakage, and a leak meant a long day repairing the wall with heavy mud and straw. But most mornings, nothing unusual happened. The canals held firm, the water flowed steadily, and the fields looked exactly as they had the day before. The farmers moved calmly through the soft soil, observing barley, flax, or date palms. They adjusted ropes, sharpened simple tools, or paused to enjoy the soft rustling of the wind. The work was repetitive, predictable, and steady. And while it may seem uneventful to us, to them it offered comfort, a sense of knowing exactly what the day would bring. Not far from the fields, another kind of work took place, just as slow and just as rooted in repetition. The scribes, keepers of records, began their quiet tasks in small shaded rooms. Inside these spaces, there was little more than a stool, a wooden table, and a basket filled with smooth lumps of clay. With a reed stylus, the scribe pressed tiny wedge-shaped symbols into the clay, line after line, tablet after tablet. Grain delivered, sheep counted, wool measured, beer brewed. Grain delivered again. The records rarely changed, and the scribes rarely hurried. Their work was patient, steady, and soft. the gentle tapping of stylus on clay forming a rhythm like slow, distant rain dot near the center of the settlement. Merchants opened their modest stalls. There was no rush of customers, no noise, no chaos. The marketplace moved at its own peaceful pace. People visited the same stalls they always had, trading small goods for everyday needs. A clay pot might be exchanged for a handful of dates, a bundle of wool for a little oil. Coins were not essential. Quiet negotiation and simple barter kept the town thriving. Conversations were soft and predictable. Greetings were familiar. A merchant's table often looked the same week after week, offering a sense of consistency that shaped the calm flow of life. As the sun climbed toward its peak, the world slowed even further. Heat shimmered gently across rooftops and empty pathways. Dogs rested lazily in the shade. Children, too warm to run or shout, wandered slowly through the alleys, tracing patterns in the dust with sticks or sitting quietly beneath the small patches of shade cast by walls and baskets. Midday in Mesopotamia was a moment of pure stillness and unhurried. Pause in an already slow-moving world. With each passing hour, the day continued with the same soft rhythms. Nothing urgent, nothing dramatic, just the steady flow of life shaped by routine, familiarity, and peaceful repetition. In this ancient land, excitement was rare and simplicity was cherished. Every day blended gently into the next, forming a continuous, calming cycle that people accepted without resistance. As you listen to these quiet moments from a world long gone, allow your own thoughts to soften. Let the slow pace of Mesopotamian life guide your mind. Let the repetition ease your breathing. Let the simple tasks, the simple foods, the simple routines of ancient people carry you deeper into relaxation. But there is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to solve. Just drift gently into rest as this calm, uneventful world unfolds softly around you. As you settle a little deeper into your space, allow your breath to soften again, slower, calmer, and let your mind drift gently back into the quiet world of ancient Mesopotamia, where the sun rises slowly, where each hour blends into the next, and where life moves with a gentle, dependable rhythm. Just steady enough to invite you deeper into rest. In this part of our journey, we step away from the fields and wander quietly into the workshops, the silent, patient places where ordinary people shaped clay, wool, wood, and metal with hands that never hurried. Here, work was not loud or dramatic. It was slow, calm, and wonderfully repetitive. Imagine a small workshop, its walls built from mud brick, its ceiling supported by wooden beams that carry the warm smell of dust and sun. The air inside is cool, even on the warmest days, because the walls are thick and the windows are nothing more than narrow openings, shaped to let in a little light and a little breeze. At the center of this quiet space sits a potter. He turns a simple, heavy wheel made from stone and wood, but the sound it makes is almost silent, just a soft, rhythmic turning, steady and calm. His hands, covered in smooth, wet clay, move with a familiarity that comes from many years of doing the same thing. Every morning, every afternoon, and every evening, he takes a lump of river clay, shapes it gently, and places it at the center of the wheel. The wheel spins slowly, not fast like a modern machine, but at the pace of a quiet heartbeat. As it turns, the potter guides the clay upward, letting it rise into a soft curve. A bowl, a jar, a simple cup, each one nearly identical to the thousands he has made before. There is no rush, no competition, just the calm motion of hands and clay moving together in a slow and steady dance. The potter's workshop is not filled with chatter or activity. It is filled with silence, the kind of silence that feels warm and gentle, the kind that helps the mind unwind. Not far from the potter, another workshop holds a weaver working quietly at a wooden loom. The loom itself is simple, a frame made of wood, with threads stretched tightly across it in careful lines. The weaver sits cross-legged, moving a shuttle back and forth through the threads. Over, under, again and again. Each pass of the shuttle creating a near inaudible whisper as it brushes against the wool. Weaving is slow work. The kind of work that rarely changes, the kind that follows a pattern so familiar the hands know what to do without thinking. And so the weaver moves with calm, practiced motions, watching as the fabric grows line by line, hour by hour. The cloth is not meant to be luxurious. It is meant to be useful, for clothing, for blankets, for bags, for whatever the community needs. But even in its simplicity, it holds the quiet beauty of careful, patient hands. Outside, the sun rises higher in the sky and warms the walls of a carpenter's workshop. The carpenter works with soft wood, often date palm, because strong wood is rare in this part of the world. He carves slowly, guiding his tools with care so the fibers do not split. The sound in the carpenter's space is soft and gentle. A quiet tapping, a soft brushing of wood shavings falling to the floor, a low creak as a tool is lifted and set down again. He shapes legs for stools, frames for doors, handles for tools, boxes for storage. Simple objects, but strong enough to serve a household for many years, dot in the background. Another craftsperson tends a small fire in a metalsmith's forge. The flames are not loud, just a soft, steady glow fed by charcoal and guided by careful breaths from a hand-operated bellows. The metal warms slowly, changing color from dull gray to a soft orange glow. When it is ready, the smith lifts it carefully and begins to shape it with measured taps of a hammer. Heat, hammer, cool, polish. Heat, hammer, cool, polish. An endless cycle that fills the day without ever feeling rushed. The metal becomes tools, small knives, hooks, pens, and simple ornaments. Nothing extravagant, nothing ornate, just practical objects that help the community live their predictable, quiet lives. Throughout these workshops, life moves at a pace that soothes the mind. Craftspeople speak softly to one another, sharing small pieces of news, the weather, the state of the crops, the price of barley. Nothing urgent, nothing surprising. Just the kind of conversation that comes naturally when days flow in a peaceful, unchanging rhythm. Around midday, the heat presses gently against the walls, and many workers rest. Some sit in the shade, leaning against cool bricks, listening to the quiet hum of the afternoon. Others remain inside, organizing their tools, preparing materials for the evening's slower work. There is no strict schedule here. Tasks follow the sun and the temperature, not the ticking of clocks dot as the day stretches on. Work resumes with the same calm pace, the same soft motions, the same quiet atmosphere. A potter makes more jars. A weaver completes another row of cloth. A carpenter smooths a piece of wood. A metalworker shapes a small blade. The details may change slightly, but the rhythm remains constant, woven into the fabric of daily life. When the sun finally begins to fall, the workshops grow dim. Craftsmen clean their tools with slow, deliberate care. They place finished items in neat rows along the walls, jars cooling quietly, cloth folded gently, wooden stools resting in soft shadows. The air is filled with the warm scent of dust. Clay and late sunlight dot as evening settles in. The craftspeople walk home through familiar streets, moving at the same calm pace their ancestors walked centuries before. Their work has not changed the world. It has not created anything extraordinary, but it has shaped another quiet day, another day that blends peacefully into the endless sequence of simple, predictable days that define ancient life. And as you listen, let the calm repetition of their lives soften your thoughts. Let the steady rhythm of their work slow your breathing. Let the warmth of their quiet world carry you deeper and deeper into rest. Here, nothing hurries. Nothing demands. Nothing interrupts. Just slow, gentle motion in a world that asks nothing from you except to drift and breathe and rest. As the sun rises higher and the warmth of the day settles gently over the land, the quiet workshops slowly empty, one by one, and the people of this ancient world step out into the soft light to continue their calm, predictable routines. In this part of our slow journey, we follow them not with urgency, not with purpose, but with the quiet curiosity of someone simply watching a day unfold. Imagine yourself walking along a narrow path of sun-baked earth. The ground is warm beneath your feet, and a faint breeze moves lazily through the spaces between mud brick houses. Nothing in this world is rushed. The way the shadows fall, the way the dust drifts, even the way the sunlight spreads across the walls, everything moves slowly as if the day itself is taking long, deep breaths. Ahead of you lies the marketplace, not loud, not crowded, and not hurried, as markets often are in stories. This one is different. It is a marketplace shaped by steady hands and predictable lives. A place where people come together not to compete, but simply to exchange the small necessities that keep daily life moving forward. The first stalls you pass are shaded by woven mats hung between wooden poles. They flutter softly in the breeze, casting gentle patterns of light and shadow on the baskets below. Inside the baskets, you see simple, familiar items, dates from nearby orchards, barley tied in neat bundles, small onions still carrying a trace of the earth they grew in. Nothing is displayed dramatically. Everything rests quietly, as if the food itself understands the slow rhythm of the day. A merchant sits behind the baskets, though sits is hardly the right word. He rests, leaning comfortably against a mud brick wall, his eyes half closed. He is not calling out for customers. He is not rushing to complete a sale. He simply waits with the patient acceptance of someone who knows that the day will unfold exactly the way it always does. A few steps farther, you see pottery arranged in careful rows. Jars, bowls, small cups, each one a quiet echo of the potter's workshop you visited earlier. Their shapes are simple, their surfaces soft from the gentle touch of drying clay. Some pieces hold faint lines left by the potter's fingers. Others are perfectly smooth from the slow rotation of the wheel. All of them sit in silence, warming in the sunlight that filters through the thin roof above. Beyond the pottery, you find sellers of woven threads. Long strips of cloth, dyed in muted tones with natural pigments, hang quietly from wooden beams. When the wind moves them, they sway just a little, not enough to make sound, but enough to create a slow, calming motion that mirrors the gentle rhythm of breathing. The weaver sits nearby, her hands resting in her lap, her loom silent for now. She watches the cloth move as if she is remembering the many hours spent weaving each thread into place. The farther you walk, the more the marketplace opens up. You begin to see small tools, carved wooden handles, simple bronze blades, and baskets woven tightly from reeds pulled from the riverbanks. Every object here carries the mark of deliberate patience, made not quickly, not boldly, but with thoughtful repetition. There is no waste, nothing flashy, just the quiet usefulness of things crafted with care. A metal worker has a small stall, though he is not working now. The faint smell of cooled charcoal lingers in the air. A few bronze tools lie neatly on display: a hook, a pin, a small knife, a simple buckle. None of these items shine. Their surfaces are gently worn, their colors softened by time and touch. They look like tools that could last for years or even generations. A quiet continuity passed from hand to hand. As you move through the paths, you notice how calm the people are. Some speak in low voices, their conversations carried gently on the warm breeze. Others walk slowly, pausing to examine a jar or to compare bunches of barley, not because they are in a hurry, but because the day allows them to take their time. Children move through the market as well, not running, not shouting, but wandering with the same quiet curiosity that fills the air. The sun continues its steady path overhead, casting warm light that shifts gradually across the market. Shadows stretch, then soften as the afternoon deepens. The smell of clay, of sun-warmed dust, of dried dates and woven fibers blends gently together, creating a familiar, comforting atmosphere that has existed here for countless generations. There is a peaceful predictability in every step you take. The market does not surprise you. It does not demand your attention. It simply exists, a living part of the community's rhythm, steady as the rising sun, calm as the layers of dust that gather slowly on baskets and jars dot as you leave the market and step into a quieter alley. You feel the warmth of the day settling over your shoulders like a soft blanket. You hear distant voices fading, a stall being closed, the soft scrape of a basket being pulled into the shade. And then, almost suddenly, everything becomes still again. This is the quiet heartbeat of ancient Mesopotamia, a place where life unfolds in small, steady steps where each moment blends into the next without urgency, without interruption, without noise. A world built on gentle routines, woven together by hands that work slowly, and voices that speak softly. And as we continue deeper into this slow, ancient day, you may notice your own breath becoming softer, your thoughts becoming quieter, and your body settling deeper into rest. As the warm afternoon settles gently over the land between the rivers, the quiet rhythm of ancient Mesopotamia continues to unfold, softly, patiently, and without hurry. The marketplace behind you grows quieter, its voices fading into a low hum carried on the sunlight that rests lazily over the mud brick walls. And now we drift into the calm streets and shaded corners where the late hours of the day unfold with slow, steady certainty. Imagine stepping away from the market, your feet pressing lightly into sun-baked earth that has been warmed all day by the steady glow of the sun. The air around you is thick, not uncomfortably so, but with the gentle heaviness that comes during the quietest moments of the afternoon. Even the breeze has slowed down, moving softly between the narrow alleys, carrying with it the faint smell of clay, sun-warmed straw, and distant cooking fires. The streets are not empty, but they move at a pace that feels almost dreamlike. A woman walks ahead, carrying a clay jar balanced carefully against her hip. Her steps are slow, unhurried, like someone who has walked this path thousands of times before. She pauses for a moment beneath the shade of a wooden awning, allowing the stillness of the moment to settle around her before she continues her soft, steady journey home. Further along, a small group of children wander near the edge of a courtyard. They do not run. They do not shout. They move with the slow curiosity that comes late in the day, when even play yields to the warm embrace of the afternoon's quiet. One of them drags a stick through the dust, tracing lines that catch the sunlight and disappear with each step. Another leans against a mud brick wall, watching shadows grow longer across the ground dot near a doorway. A man adjusts a woven mat hanging above the entrance. The mat flutters gently, just enough to shift patterns of light on the floor beneath it. He checks the knots at the corners, tightening them with practiced calm, ensuring the mat will stay in place when the late afternoon breeze returns. There is no rush in his movements. This small task is part of the same routine that has shaped his life for as long as he can remember. As you continue walking, you pass a row of houses set closely together, their walls the same warm color as the earth beneath your feet. A woman kneels near a clay oven, gently feeding it bits of dried grass and small scraps of wood. Thin smoke curls upward, twisting softly before dissolving into the quiet air. She waits patiently, allowing the fire to grow at its own unhurried pace, knowing that the evening meal will come together slowly. As it always does. Just beyond her, a man pours water from one clay jar into another. The water moves in a slow, steady stream, catching the light in faint shimmering glints. When he finishes, he takes a moment to wipe dust from the rim of the jar, his hand moving in soft circles as though polishing something precious. But it is not precious, it is simply part of the day. A small task among many, all of them familiar. All of them gently predictable. You notice the animals as well. A small group of goats resting in the shade of a wall, their breaths steady and soft. Occasionally, one shifts its weight, but most remain still, content to let the afternoon warmth wrap around them like a blanket. A donkey stands nearby, its head lowered, eyes half closed, enjoying the cool patch of earth beneath its hooves. Farther down the path, a pot of water sits cooling in the shade. Condensation gathers on its curved surface, tracing slow paths downward in the golden light. The pot will be used later for cooking, for washing, for storing water through the night. But for now, it rests quietly, absorbing the soft stillness of the late afternoon dawn as you walk. You hear faint sounds that weave gently into the calm atmosphere, the soft clink of clay dishes, the distant murmur of voices, the steady scraping of a broom clearing dust from a doorway, the hollow tap of wood on stone as someone repairs a simple tool. None of the sounds are loud. None of them compete with one another. Instead, they blend together into a kind of peaceful rhythm, the afternoon heartbeat of this ancient place. Somewhere nearby, a woman grinds grain using a simple stone quern. Her movements are slow, methodical, the same motion repeated again and again. The sound is soft, almost hypnotic grain against stone, stone against grain, a steady circular rhythm that has existed for thousands of years. She pauses occasionally to adjust the grain, then resumes her patient, quiet work. As the afternoon deepens, the light begins to change. Shadows grow longer, stretching gently across the ground. The color of the sky softens, drifting from pale gold to a warmer, deeper hue, asterisk as the afternoon shifts into its final moments. The warmth in the sky settles into deeper tones, soft amber, quiet ochre, and the gentle red glow of a sun preparing to rest. The light no longer spreads quickly, it drifts, slowly, carefully, filling the alleys and rooftops with a warmth that feels almost like memory. People begin to finish their last small tasks of the day. A woman folds a woven mat and leans it against a wall, pausing to brush a faint line of dust from its edge. The movement is simple but unhurried, as though the task itself is in no rush to be completed. Nearby, a few children gather smooth stones and place them in a shallow wooden bowl, their gestures soft and deliberate. They speak little, their voices barely rising above a whisper, as if the quiet of the evening has already begun to settle over their playful minds. The smell of cooking fires begins to drift through the air, a soft, smoky warmth that moves gently between the houses. You might catch the faint aroma of lentils simmering in clay pots, or bread warming on flat stones near slow-burning embers. The scents blend together into something familiar, something comforting, something that feels like home in any century. A man walks past carrying a bundle of reeds. Each reed shifts slightly as he moves, creating a soft rustling that fades almost as quickly as it appears. He does not hurry. No one here does. The day itself encouraged slow, steady steps, as though each footfall is meant to ease the world gently into evening. Along the main path, shadows begin to stretch, long, delicate lines that glide across the ground as the sun lowers inch by inch. A pot left outside glows faintly in the warm light, its curved surface catching the last soft colors of the day. Someone will bring it indoors soon, but not yet. For now, it sits quietly in the golden hush of dusk. You hear distant sounds, the soft call of someone gathering their animals, the creak of a wooden door slowly closing, the gentle splash of water being poured into a shallow basin. Each sound appears on its own, unhurried, never interrupting the stillness. A woman brushes dust from the threshold of her home, moving the broom in slow arcs that follow a rhythm older than memory itself. When she finishes, she rests for a moment, hands gently folded, watching the last traces of sunlight slip across the courtyard floor. Farther ahead, a family sits together outside their doorway. One person sorts lentils into a small clay bowl. Another smooths the folds of a cloth they have just taken down from the line. Their motions overlap softly, a slow choreography of familiar gestures passed down through generations as the final minutes of daylight settle into stillness. The entire settlement seems to exhale. Walls glow softly, rooftops cool in the evening air, and the world becomes quiet in a way that feels both ancient and timeless. This is the hour when the day loosens its hold, when routine gives way to rest, when everything slows to the gentle pace of dust, thought, and as the last warm light fades from the sky, you may feel yourself settling to, breathing a little deeper, thinking a little less, resting a little more with each passing moment.
As the last warmth of the fading sun spreads softly across the rooftops of ancient Mesopotamia, the familiar rhythm of the day begins to loosen its pace. Nothing ends abruptly here. The day drifts gently toward night in slow, careful steps, as though the world itself is taking a long, patient breath before settling into rest. The sky above shifts gradually from pale gold to muted amber, then deepens into the warm glow of late afternoon. Mud brick walls absorb the final rays, holding on to the sun's warmth for just a little longer, their surfaces glowing in soft, fading light. Dust floats lazily through the air, catching the sun's last glimmers and turning them into slow-moving specks of quiet brightness. The marketplace you left behind has grown nearly silent now. Its early bustle has softened into a gentle hum, a distant mix of fading voices and settling baskets, all drifting into the background as evening stretches across the land. What remains is a calm stillness, the kind of stillness that eases the breath and quiets the mind. As you walk through narrow alleys warmed by a full day of sunlight, the earth beneath your feet feels soft and familiar. The air is thick, but not heavy, filled with gentle warmth that lingers like a soft memory. Even the breeze moves more slowly now, slipping between walls and doorways with quiet ease, carrying subtle scents of clay, sun-dried straw, and faint wisps of distant cooking fires. The streets are not empty, but they move with a dreamlike slowness. A woman walks ahead, balancing a clay jar carefully at her hip. Her steps are steady, unhurried, the steps of someone who has walked this same path thousands of times. She pauses beneath the shade of a wooden awning, letting the soft stillness settle around her before continuing her gentle pace home. Farther along, a few children wander near a courtyard. They move quietly, their voices softened by the calming pull of dusk. One drags a stick through the dust, drawing slow, curving patterns that glow faintly in the fading light before disappearing beneath his next step. Another leans against a warm mud brick wall, watching as shadows stretch in long, silent lines across the ground. Near a doorway, a man adjusts a woven mat hanging above the entrance. The mat trembles softly with each passing breeze, casting shifting patterns across the earth below. He tightens the knots with patient familiarity, making sure the mat will hold through the night. Every motion he makes feels unforced, steady, almost meditative. A small task repeated endlessly across countless evenings. As you continue walking, you pass a row of homes set closely together, their walls the same gentle color as the earth beneath your feet. A woman kneels near a clay oven, feeding it dried grass and small pieces of wood. Thin smoke curls upward in delicate spirals before dissolving into the quiet evening air. She waits patiently, allowing the small fire to grow at its own unhurried pace, knowing the evening meal will come together slowly, just as it has for generations. Not far away, a man pours water from one clay jar to another. The stream moves slowly, a shimmering ribbon catching light from the settling sun. When he finishes, he brushes dust from the rim of the jar in gentle circular motions, a familiar gesture worn smooth by years of repetition. The task is small, but its simplicity is comforting, predictable, quiet. Animals rest in the shade of a nearby wall. A small group of goats lies clustered together, their breaths rising and falling in steady rhythms. A donkey stands beside them, head lowered, eyes half closed, enjoying the cool patch of earth beneath its hooves. Even their stillness adds to the evening calm. A clay water pot sits cooling under a sheltered corner, its rounded surface collecting beads of condensation that slide slowly downward in the gentle dusk light. The water inside will be used later, for cooking, for washing, for preparing the home for night. But for now, the pot waits quietly, absorbing the calm atmosphere of late afternoon. As you walk, soft sounds drift through the air, the clink of clay dishes, the faint murmur of voices, the slow scrape of a broom moving dust aside, the hollow tap of wood on stone as someone adjusts a simple tool. Nothing is loud. Nothing interrupts the peaceful rhythm. Instead, each sound blends with the next, forming a gentle pattern, a soft evening heartbeat of the ancient world. Somewhere nearby, a woman grinds grain using a simple stone quern. Her movements are slow, steady, the same circular rhythm repeated again and again. The sound, grain against stone, stone against grain, creates a calming pulse, as ancient and enduring as the world around her. As the light deepens, shadows stretch across the ground, slowly lengthening as the sun sinks. The sky shifts gradually from warm gold to a richer, deeper hue, the quiet color of evening settling into place. People begin collecting tools, gathering baskets, moving jars inside, each motion deliberate and unhurried, guided by a rhythm older than memory. Along the outer paths, a man leads a donkey toward its resting place. Its hooves tap softly on the earth, a slow echo that blends with the dimming air. He guides the animal gently, patting its neck before securing it for the night. Families begin to sweep courtyards, pushing dust into small patterns that the wind will later erase. The movements are slow, almost ceremonial, a daily ritual that signals the arrival of night. The evening grows quieter still. One by one, oil lamps are lit inside homes. Their soft glow spills gently through doorways, creating pockets of warm light that mingle with the cool shadows outside. The flames flicker in gentle rhythms, casting slow-moving patterns against the walls. The breeze returns in small, delicate waves, carrying with it the scent of burning wood, cooling clay, and faint herbs hung to dry. It moves through the settlement as though guiding the world into deeper calm. As darkness takes hold, the first stars appear, soft, distant, glimmering faintly through the thin veil of dust that always hangs in the air. The moon rises slowly, casting a pale glow over rooftops and quiet courtyards. Inside the homes, voices grow softer, whispers replacing conversation, quiet gestures replacing movement. Mats are arranged, herbs covered, tools laid aside for the next day. The world becomes still, not silent, but comfortably quiet. A quiet woven from thousands of evenings, just like this one. A quiet that invites the mind to loosen its hold, to soften its edges, to rest. As you stand beneath the ancient sky, the calm settles around you, warm and steady. Your breath matches the gentle rhythm of this old world, a rhythm shaped by patient hands, slow routines, and peaceful nights repeated endlessly through time. Nothing rushes now. Nothing pulls you forward. This night, like so many before it, asks only that you drift, slowly, softly, into rest. As night settles fully over ancient Mesopotamia, the last traces of daylight fade into a deep, velvety darkness, quiet, steady, and endlessly patient. The sky stretches wide above the silent settlement, its surface dotted with countless faint stars that shimmer softly through the thin veil of dust always present in the air. Their glow is gentle, never bright enough to disturb, but warm enough to guide the eye into the stillness of the night. The world has entered its quietest hours. The sounds of the evening, soft voices, closing doors, shuffling footsteps, have grown silent, replaced by the gentle hum of a night that moves at the slowest imaginable pace. Nothing here is hurried. Nothing lingers with urgency. Everything has softened into the deep calm of the ancient world's midnight. As you move through the settlement, the coolness of the night air presses lightly against your skin. The warmth of the day has long since drifted away, leaving behind a comfortable chill that feels steady and grounding, like the earth itself has breathed out and relaxed into the darkness. Homes made of mud bricks stand quietly in the shadows, their lines softened by the pale light of the rising moon. Most doorways are closed now, sealed gently with woven mats or wooden shutters, but a few remain slightly open, just enough for a soft glow from inside oil lamps to spill into the night. The lamps flicker slowly, casting small, trembling halos that move with each breath of air. Inside each home, families rest in clusters on woven mats spread neatly across the floor. Their bodies are still, their breaths deep and quiet, rising and falling in peaceful rhythm. The soft sound of sleeping is the only movement within these quiet walls. One home has a clay lamp burning lower than the rest. Its flame bends gently, then straightens again, each motion slow and deliberate, as though the lamp itself is beginning to doze. Soon it will fade entirely, leaving the room in the soft blue darkness of the moonlit night. You step deeper into the village, your footsteps brushing lightly against the dust. Each step makes only the faintest sound, a soft shift of earth, barely audible, barely noticeable. But in this quiet hour, even the smallest noise feels like part of the night's slow, unfolding rhythm. Near a low enclosure, a donkey sleeps soundly, its head resting against the wall. Its breaths rise and fall in steady waves, fogging the night air for a brief moment before disappearing again. Its ears move occasionally, responding to distant noises, perhaps a bird, perhaps the wind. but the animal remains still, comfortably settled in its resting place. A cluster of goats nearby lies together in a soft pile of warmth. One shifts slightly, but most remain perfectly still, their bodies calm, their breaths slow. Even the animals seem to sense that this hour belongs to quiet. As you continue through the settlement, you pass by clay jars lined neatly against a wall. Their rounded shapes capture faint reflections of the moon above, creating subtle curves of light that glow gently in the silent night. The air here is so still that even the dust seems frozen in place, resting softly on every surface. A potter's workshop stands not far ahead, its tools arranged carefully along a low bench. The potter's wheel, which spun slowly under the sun earlier in the day, now sits motionless in the soft blue darkness. The moonlight catches its smooth surface, revealing faint grooves left from the day's work, a quiet record of hours that passed with gentle repetition. A small water basin rests beside the workshop, its surface so still it looks like polished stone. It reflects the stars above with perfect clarity, creating a second sky beneath the one that stretches overhead. Occasionally, a faint ripple forms, perhaps from a drifting breeze or the settling of a cooling stone, but the water always returns to its perfect stillness. Deeper into the night, you approach the outer edge of the settlement. Beyond the homes and courtyards, open land stretches outward in silence. Soft dunes of dust and sand glow faintly in the moonlight, their edges smooth and unbroken. A distant dog gives a single bark, a short, quiet sound, then lapses back into silence. Even the wild animals move cautiously at this hour, their footsteps muted by the cool, soft earth. The air grows cooler still as the night deepens. A gentle breeze stirs, carrying with it the subtle scent of clay jars, dry earth, and fading embers from the last evening fires. The breeze moves with the same soft slowness as everything else in this world. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, nothing seeking attention. Returning toward the center of the settlement, you notice a few lamps still glowing behind shutters. Their light falls through narrow cracks in soft, uneven lines that ripple gently whenever the wind passes. These homes have not yet fallen completely asleep. Perhaps someone inside is finishing a quiet task or simply enjoying the stillness of the night before resting. But even inside these homes, the movements are slow, shadows shifting gently, hands placing objects softly into place, tools arranged in quiet preparation for the next day. The night invites a slower rhythm, a gentler pace, and every living thing responds to it naturally. A clay amphora leans against a wooden support beam, its surface worn smooth from years of handling. A faint line of moonlight runs across its surface, revealing a thin trail of dust that has settled there over the course of the day. It will be used again tomorrow, as it was today, and the day before, but tonight it rests completely, undisturbed in the silence. Far above, the stars continue their slow arc across the sky, marking the passage of time with quiet certainty. The constellations shift gradually, creating patterns that ancient astronomers once studied from rooftops and temple courtyards. But tonight, no one watches them. Everyone is sleeping, their thoughts drifting into quiet dreams. And so the night moves on, slowly, peacefully, like a long breath held gently in the air. No sound breaks the calm. No movement disturbs the quiet. It is a moment suspended in time, a moment that repeats itself night after night in this ancient world. As you stand in this deep silence, Your own breath begins to match the rhythm of the sleeping settlement. Slow, steady, soft, like the quiet heartbeat of the night itself. Here, in this world of gentle shadows and endless calm, sleep is not something you chase. It arrives slowly, folding itself around you, inviting you to drift into the same peaceful stillness that surrounds everything in this ancient place. And as the night deepens further, you may feel yourself sinking gently into that quiet, letting go, drifting, resting, in perfect calm.
The deepest hours of the night have settled fully over ancient Mesopotamia, folding the world into a quiet so deep, so gentle, that even the air seems to hold its breath. This is the hour that exists between thoughts, between movements, between the last fading fragments of night and the first soft promise of morning. A moment suspended, neither darkness nor light, but a fragile space where the world rests completely before anything stirs, before even the earliest bird considers the day. The stars above hang in the vast darkness with a steady patience. They are not bright tonight. Their glow softened to a hazy shimmer by the thin veil of dust that forever drifts over this land between rivers. One could watch them for hours and feel as though they barely move at all, remaining close to the same place in the sky, as if time itself has slowed its pace to match the slow heartbeat of the sleeping settlement below. The moon rests slow now, its pale curve dropping toward the horizon. Its light is thin, almost translucent, but still strong enough to stretch soft shadows across the rooftops, where layers of sun-baked mud brick are stacked with the familiarity of generations. The glow of the moon smooths every rough edge, softens every tool left outside, and leaves a faint silvery outline on the curve of a clay jar, the corner of a woven mat, a wooden beam shaped by countless hands over countless days. All around you, the settlement sleeps. Every doorway is closed, every shutter drawn, every mat placed carefully to keep the night's cool air from settling too deeply indoors. Inside each home, families rest together on simple woven surfaces, their bodies still, their breathing slow and steady. Not a murmur, not a whisper, not even the faint shift of turning bodies can be heard from within. The night has claimed everything, the silence thorough, complete, unbroken dot near one doorway. A clay amphora leans slightly, its neck angled just a touch toward the street. The moonlight finds it easily, drawing a pale line across its rounded surface, revealing the slight unevenness left by the potter's hands long ago. Each curve carries memory, not the memory of one day, but the memory of 1,000 quiet acts of labor. Water was carried here. Grain was stored here. Hands cleaned it, hands lifted it, hands trusted it to serve its small purpose. Day after day, without fail, under a low wooden awning, a small cluster of goats lies in gentle stillness. Their bodies are pressed close, sharing warmth in the coolness of night. Their breaths move slowly, a soft rise and fall barely visible beneath thick coats. Once in a while, an ear flicks, a hind leg shifts, but there is no intention in it, no readiness, no alertness. Even instincts that once kept their ancestors awake under stars and danger have soft here, in this calm place. During this quiet hour when nothing threatens and nothing calls, a donkey nearby rests on its side, its head lowered, its eyes close to the gentle light of the moon. Its breathing moves in long, heavy waves, the kind that come only with deep sleep. The tip of its tail lifts slightly whenever a breeze passes, but its body remains still, unmoved by anything except the slow rhythm of its own lungs. That breeze, so soft it can barely be felt, is the first sign that the night is beginning to turn. It carries a different weight now, lighter, colder at the edges, as if something unseen has shifted far beyond the horizon. It moves gently over the surface of woven baskets, slips across the smooth clay of a water jar, and carries with it the faintest fragments of scent, dry grass, bare earth, the memory of cooking fires that faded hours ago, somewhere beyond the rooftops. A bird gives a short call, a tiny sound that is swallowed instantly by the vastness of dark. It is not a song to wake the world, only a brief marker of time passing, a note that signals without urgency that dawn is somewhere ahead, though still far away. Long ago, people may have listened for this small sound, measuring the arrival of morning by a single instinctive voice in the darkness down above the settlement. The sky's begun one of its slowest transformations. It is almost invisible, something felt more than seen. But if one watches carefully, they might notice that the deepest blue has thinned at the edges, that the stars nearest the horizon lack a small measure of their former clarity. Not fading, not vanishing, only softening, as though preparing to step aside and make room for something new. Time behaves differently in these hours. Moments stretch wide, unfolding like slow ripples on still water. Minutes feel longer than minutes, as if the world has paused completely in order to give night its full measure of quiet. Nothing interrupts, no labor, no footsteps, no conversation. Beyond the walls, the fields rest untouched since sunset, their surfaces cooling gently beneath a sky that has not yet decided to change dot in the potter's workshop. Everything remains completely still. The tools laid out on the low bench look like they have settled into the wood itself. The wheel sits silent, its smooth surface reflecting only the dull shine of distant stars through the doorway. Every groove marks a day's work, every scratch is a memory left in clay. And the dust that settled slowly onto it during the night remains exactly where it fell, undisturbed, like a thin layer of time allowed to rest. Near the center of the settlement, a courtyard lies empty. The woven cloth spread earlier in the evening rests untouched, its patterns now hidden in the darkness of pre-dawn. If touched, it would feel cool, its fibers holding the night's remaining chill. The cloth carries the shape of countless evenings, countless routines, countless hours of quiet. Just like this one, beside the cloth, a clay bowl holds a small handful of grain, a sign of tomorrow's work. The grains are perfectly still, neither shifting nor settling. They rest with the same patience as everything else here. Tomorrow, they will be ground, mixed, measured, transformed slowly into the simplest food. This too is part of a rhythm older than stories, older than names. Outside the settlement, the land stretches outward in silent darkness. The dunes rise gently, their surfaces smooth beneath the fading glow of the moon. Every curve holds a pattern printed by wind, soft lines that swirl, stretch, and disappear. These lines speak to the patient movements of the world. Nothing here is sudden. A small stone basin nearby, filled with still water, reflects the stars above with such clarity, it seems as though the sky has been captured in a bowl no larger than a person's hands. Its surface is unbroken, except for the rare ripple formed by a passing breath of wind or the settling of cooling stone. This stillness has existed for centuries, repeating itself night after night like a quiet memory. The earth refuses to forget Dot as the hours move forward. The first subtle hint of dawn begins to appear, not as light, but as awareness. A sensation that the darkness has reached its deepest point and will go no further. The stars directly overhead still shine cleanly, but those near the horizon have softened even more, as though preparing to release their hold. Dot. This is the moment when the night begins its slow surrender. It does not resist, does not fight, does not break. It simply relaxes its grip on the sleeping world, allowing the earliest glow of morning to form quietly beneath the horizon. Even in these final breaths of darkness, the night holds its shape with gentle certainty. It settles around rooftops and narrow alleys, lingers against clay walls, and rests in quiet spaces where no sound has entered for many hours. The sky changes slowly, drawing pale gray into places where stars once burned. A faint brightness forms across the edges of clay jars and wooden beams, not yet visible as light but felt as expectation. Inside the homes, dreams unfold behind closed eyes. Hands remain open, feet remain still, and breaths fall in steady rhythm. No one hurries toward the dawn. Morning must arrive with calm steps and soft certainty, as if asking permission to enter each room. And in that calm, you may feel yourself floating slowly toward rest, as the ancient world waits patiently for the first light of a new day. The sky over ancient Mesopotamia holds a color so faint, so quiet, that it is almost invisible. It is the very first trace of dawn, not light, not brightness, but the suggestion that morning waits beyond the horizon. The darkness which covered the land through the long hours of night has thinned just enough to reveal the softest shade of gray across the edges of the world. Dot. It begins slowly, as though the day itself is unsure whether it should arrive. A faint glow gathers in the distance, far beyond the rooftops, far beyond the silent courtyard walls, far beyond the dunes where the night wind has shaped delicate lines in the sand. The glow is not warm yet, not strong, but gentle, like the quiet beginning of a long, unfolding breath. The stars nearest the horizon fade one by one, not with haste, but with the patient softness of embers cooling. Those high above still shine faintly pale fragments of night, lingering a little longer in a sky that slowly changes its shape. The moon, low and tired from its long journey across the darkness, rests near the edge of sight, its thin curve dissolving into the growing pale. Every shape in the settlement is still wrapped in quiet shadow. Mud brick walls carry a dusty blue tone now, no longer deep with night, but not yet touched by sunlight. Doorways remain covered, woven mats hang loose over openings, and wooden shutters block the cool air from drifting into the rooms where families rest. Inside, sleep still holds the night. Bodies lie curled on woven mats, arms relaxed, hands open, breathing slow and steady, the rhythm of people who have surrendered fully to rest. The coolness of the earth floor meets the warmth of blankets, creating a quiet balance between the last breath of darkness and the first hint of day. In one corner of a low room, an empty clay bowl sits beside a small pile of grain, waiting for the tasks that morning will eventually bring. The grain holds the promise of simple nourishment, something ground slowly, prepared with steady hands, shared among family without urgency, without haste, but that moment is still far away. For now, the bowl rests untouched, its curved surface barely reflecting the faint gray light that slips through a gap in the shutters. The dust on its rim glows with a pale tone, small particles catching what little brightness there is in the cool air of dawn. Outside, a clay amphora leans against a wall, exactly where it was left before night settled. Its rounded shape carries a soft highlight from the arriving day, but it does not shine. The light is too weak for shine, it only outlines form, tracing the edges of a vessel shaped long ago by hands that understood the slow rhythm of clay and water. Near the amphora, a wooden beam embedded in mud brick shows thin lines carved by time itself. Its surface has been touched by years of heat, years of dust, years of lifting, building, rebuilding. Now, in this early hour, those lines are bare, visible only to someone who stands close enough to watch the wall breathe in the presence of first light. Beyond the doorway, the narrow alley between two homes remains in shadow. The donkey that slept there lies as it did before, feet folded beneath its body, ears relaxed, breath slow. The faint glow along its back shows only the shape of resting muscle, not the signs of waking. A small group of goats still lies beneath the wooden awning, pressed close in a gentle cluster. Their fur reflects a tone of soft gray, their breath steady as if the slow pulse of dawn moves through them. A tail flicks once, a hoof shifts slightly, but sleep remains stronger than the earliest suggestion of day. In the potter's workshop, the wheel sits silent. Its smooth surface holds a pale highlight from the sky outside, yet remains cool to the touch. The faint grooves running across it tell stories not of a single morning, but of many long days spent shaping earth into forms that serve without noise or praise. Beside the wheel, tools rest in a neat line, their wooden handles dark with age, their metal edges dull in the soft light. A basin filled with water sits near the workshop door. Its surface is perfectly still, so calm that it forms a mirror for the faint early sky above. A single ripple appears, caused by the subtle shift of cooling stone beside it, then fades back into silence. The reflection returns to its fragile clarity, a second sky resting inside the bowl. In the open land beyond the settlement. The dunes rise like quiet waves, their edges softened by the dim light of dawn. Each curve of sand carries a pattern made hours earlier when the wind moved lightly across the surface. Those patterns, woven lines of dust and grain, remain untouched since they formed, Like a memory the night left behind, Dot, the horizon changes slowly. What was once pure darkness holds now the color of smoke, a pale gray mixed with blue, spread thin like cloth drawn across the edge of the world. The shift in sky moves like breath, a slow expansion, a gradual release, a soft unfolding of light. The stars disappear without ceremony. They do not fall, do not flare, they fade, as though someone has lowered a veil between earth and sky. Above the rooftops, only a few remain visible, pale points that seem reluctant to leave the calm of night. But the day continues to rise, and even those final stars begin to soften until they, too, are gone. Dot in a courtyard. A woven cloth still lies across the ground. Its fibers hold the cold of night, a chill that will vanish as soon as sunlight touches the earth. The cloth is simple, no symbol, no decoration, no color bright enough to disturb the quiet. It belongs to the rhythm of the settlement, everyday objects used with patience, cared for with familiarity. Dot beside the cloth. A clay bowl still guards its small handful of grain, as though it has protected the idea of mourning through the night. Around it, the dust remains settled, a thin layer that reveals nothing of urgency. In the hours to come, the grain will move again, ground slowly beneath stone, mixed with water, shaped by hands. But for now, the bowl asks nothing of the world. Dot inside the homes, dreams linger. A child turns slightly, pulling a woven cloth closer to their chest. A mother breathes deeply, her chest rising, falling. A father rests with an arm folded over his head, his mind somewhere far from light or responsibility. And this time before dawn, sleep has its strongest hold. The first real sign of morning arrives not from the sky, but from the air itself. The temperature changes just a little, just enough to feel like a shift in time. Cool breath of night meets the faint warmth carried from a place beyond the horizon. It is the meeting of two long histories, the end of darkness, the beginning of day. Dot, you can feel it in the quiet. Not in sound, but in the absence of it. Not in light, but in the possibility of it. The settlement remains perfectly still. No door opens, no voice speaks, no footsteps move. Yet there is a presence, a subtle certainty that the world is preparing to wake. If you look closely at the sky, you may see the color shift from gray to a hint of pale gold beneath the lowest edge. It is not brightness, not light strong enough to glow, only the softest suggestion of warmth. But it is enough. A bird calls one, then silence. Another responds from far away. Their voices do not break the quiet, they join it, threaded through the soft fabric of dawn like thin lines of sound woven into air. Dot. This is the moment when night becomes morning. Though no one in the settlement has moved, it is a moment without action, without change, a moment defined by what will come, but has not yet arrived. Darkness lifts in layers so thin they cannot be separated. The sky stretches wider, turning gently from night to day in the quiet language of color. The gray grows warmer. The blue grows softer. Dot, and in this gentle shift the land breathes. Clay walls hold a new tone. Sand reflects a new shade. Wood darkened by night begins to show its grain. Every surface that slept beneath moonlight now waits quietly for sunlight, The settlement, still resting in silence, receives morning like a soft blanket, folded slowly over the cold of night. Nothing hurries here. Nothing rushes. Morning, like everything else in this ancient world, arrives with patience, and in that calm, you may feel yourself floating slowly toward rest, as the ancient world waits patiently for the first light of a new day. Morning takes form in a way so quiet, so gradual, that it feels less like a beginning and more like the soft continuation of night. It does not arrive all at once. It stretches forward carefully, as though unwilling to disturb the deep calm that has settled across the land. The first breath of day moves through the settlement almost invisibly. It is a shift so gentle that only the dust in the air seems to notice, a thin layer of particles lifting ever so slightly, as if stirred by a memory of wind. Along the rooftops, the faintest shade of gold begins to gather. Not bright, not warm, but present, a fragile line pressed softly against the horizon. It is enough to change the shapes of mud brick walls, to draw a longer shadow beneath a wooden beam, to reveal the curve of a clay jar left outside overnight. The faint light also softens edges of the night itself, making the darkness seem older, more comfortable, like a woven blanket that has held its warmth through all the hours of sleep. Inside the silent rooms, the earliest signs of waking appear with the same patience that defines everything here. A hand shifts slightly, fingers curling beneath a woven blanket. A quiet breath deepens, falling into the rhythm not of sleep, but of someone slowly lifting toward dawn. Yet eyes stay closed. Dreams do not end immediately. Morning allows them to finish whatever stories they were shaping in the darkness, and dreams here are not rushed. They move the way the sky moves, slow arcs of memory, soft echoes of days that came before, shapes formed from familiar objects, clay bowls, cool water, grain carried in baskets, footsteps and dust. The mind wanders through spaces made of routine, comfort, continuity. A child's shoulder rises just a little higher as lungs fill more deeply. Cloth settles against skin with a whisper-soft sound, so light it becomes part of silence instead of breaking it. The rest of the room remains still. Blankets hold warmth. Earth floors hold coolness. Between the two, the body finds balance in the earliest hour. In this moment, time lengthens. Minutes feel wider, as if the sky itself is stretching each second into something softer. Breaths seem slower. Shapes seem calmer. The world feels as though it is resting inside a thought that has not yet been spoken. No one speaks. There are no words waiting inside these walls. Language comes later, after movement, after water is poured, after the first grain meets the stone. For now, there is only breath. In another corner of the settlement, a mother turns in her sleep, her arm resting softly across her forehead. It is a gesture made without intention, a motion shaped by rest, not by waking. Her breathing changes, slowly, so slowly, that a full minute may pass before the shift could be understood. She is not awake, not yet, but something inside her has begun to listen to the faint call of morning. The father beside her remains still, His face relaxed, his features soft in the pale half-light. His body carries the long familiarity of work and rest, a life shaped by the sun's slow arc across the sky. Morning will return him to patterns repeated through countless days, tasks learned not through urgency, but through rhythm not far from their room. A clay jar resting against a wall also feels the arrival of morning. Its surface, still cool from night, now carries the slightest warmth. Not enough to heat, only enough to awaken the memory of sunlight. A line of ants, hidden in shadow through the night, begins its movement along the base of a stone. Their pace is unhurried, their direction familiar. They continue a path walked each morning, tiny lives guided by patterns older than the settlement itself. All of this exists. Before a single eye opens, the settlement around them has not yet begun its day. Doorways remain closed. Shutters remain lowered. The cool air of morning travels only a short distance, slipping through small gaps between wood and clay. Its path is narrow, its movement soft, like a whispered promise that day is coming soon. Outside, the world remains almost silent. A bird calls from somewhere beyond the rooftops, one short, gentle note shared with no urgency, no intention to wake anyone. It is followed by a long stretch of quiet, as if the bird itself understands that this hour belongs to stillness, not to song. The sky grows lighter, but only by degrees so small they are easy to miss. Blue deepens into gray, gray thins into pale gold. The horizon widens step by step as if pulled open by invisible hands. The stars that remain are almost too faint to see, silent witnesses to a world waking without hurry dot along the edge of the courtyard. A woven cloth rests exactly where it was placed the evening before. Its fibers are cool from the night air. Its pattern is soft, almost invisible until the light catches it from the right angle. Even then, not shine. It simply reveals what has always been there, the quiet work of hands repeating the same motions over and over. Beside the cloth, the clay bowl of grain remains untouched. Nothing about it has changed, not the shape of the bowl, not the position of the grains, not the thin layer of dust resting on the rim. Yet the light around it has changed completely. Where darkness once held the bowl in deep shadow, dawn now wraps it in a pale glow that reveals subtle curves, thin cracks, small marks from use that hold the memory of countless mornings. A small breeze moves through the alley, so faint it shifts only the lightest dust on the ground. It touches a wooden beam, then disappears. The movement lasts less than a moment, but it is enough to mark the meeting of night and day dot in the potter's workshop. The wheel remains still, its surface cool, its grooves filled with thin lines of shadow. The tools beside it have not been lifted since the previous afternoon. Their positions reflect the work left unfinished, not rushed, not abandoned, only paused until the day returns. The air in this room is quiet, shaped by walls that have seen thousands of mornings just like this one. Clay dust rests in small patterns along the floor. A pot left to dry sits near the entrance, its shape outlined by the soft light coming from outside. Nothing about this space seems urgent. It exists in a rhythm older than memory dot beyond the workshop. The dunes breathe. not in movement, but in shape, their curves carved by winds that have long passed. The first warmth of day touches their ridges, drawing a thin highlight on the highest lines. It is not brightness, not heat, only light barely able to exist dot in a quiet corner of the settlement. The first true movement of morning finally arrives. A pair of eyes opens, slowly, without tension, without sudden focus. They do not seek anything. They do not react. They simply open in the direction of light. The person beneath those eyes remains still. Their body waits for the next breath, for the next moment, for the first brief thought to form in the softness between sleep and day-time stretches. The eyes close again. Sleep has not fully left. Morning has not fully arrived. It is a moment caught between worlds, a space that lasts only a few breaths, but feels large enough to hold silence itself. The settlement remains asleep, yet something is different now. The air carries warmth that did not exist just a short time ago. The sky has begun its slow transformation. Light has settled on clay, on sand, on water, on wood. Soon doors will open. Water will be poured. Grain will be ground. Feet will step softly across earth floors, and morning will become day. But not yet, for now. The world remains in its quiet beginning, a beginning shaped by patience, by repetition, by lives lived slowly beneath a sky that changes its color in silence. Morning here is not something that happens. It is something that unfolds. It stretches through clay rooms, beneath woven cloth, across resting bodies, around sleeping animals, and into every grain of dust waiting to catch the sun, and in the space before sound, before movement, before a task or a ritual, you may find your breath matching the rhythm of this ancient morning, slower, softer, lighter, as the world calls you gently deeper into rest. Here, in the first movements of day, the ancient world waits without hurry, without expectation, inviting you to drift further into calm. Let the quiet hold you. Let the softness settle. Let your thoughts dissolve into the slow light of a day that has not yet begun. Morning does not arrive with sound. It arrives with shape, with edges softened by light, a slow, pale light that expands gently across clay and cloth, entering rooms before anyone chooses to move. For a long moment, the world remains caught between the final breath of night and the first intention of day. Time stretches wide as though the sky itself wishes to keep everything still just a little longer. Inside one of the rooms, a woman opens her eyes. Not fully, not with the clarity of wakefulness, but slowly, allowing the dim glow of morning to fill a small corner of her vision. Her gaze is soft and focused, resting on the shape of woven fibers above her. She does not sit up. She does not speak. She simply breathes one deep, quiet breath, holding the last traces of sleep within her lungs. Her body remembers the rhythm of days long past. It knows when morning arrives, even without the sound of footsteps, even without the light of flame, even without the call of others. Yet it does not hurry. She lies still, letting the warmth of her blanket meet the cool air settling across the floor next to her. A child turns slightly in sleep. A small hand emerges from beneath a woven cloth, fingers relaxed, palm open, a gesture untouched by thought or effort. The child's breath is slow and steady, rising and falling with a calmness that seems older than the morning itself. Dreams still hold the child's mind, pulling it gently through soft memories of familiar places, the courtyard dust, the curved rim of a clay bowl, the light on water dot across the room. A father opens his eyes. Not because he has chosen to wake, but because something inside him has understood that the sky has changed. He looks toward the door, where a thin line of pale gold rests along the woven mat hanging over the entrance. That line of light is enough to show him that morning has begun its long, slow arrival. Still, he does not move. He closes his eyes again, allowing the quiet to stay unbroken. The air inside the room is cool from the night. It carries the faint scent of clay, of earth floors, of woven fibers warmed by sleep. Dust hangs lightly in the air, caught between darkness and dawn, waiting for the sun to give it shape again. Every breath taken in this space feels heavy with calm, as if the silence were a blanket drawn over the room. Outside, the light has grown stronger, but only by degrees too small to be felt all at once. The horizon holds a soft glow that spreads gently outward, changing darkness into gray, gray into pale gold, gold into something warmer that hints at the shape of the day ahead. Along the rooftops, shadows lengthen slowly. The lines cast by wooden beams stretch across the earth, forming patterns that shift only as the light does, in small, steady increments. No one steps across these patterns yet. They remain untouched, as if waiting for a decision that has not been made. Near one of the doorways, a clay jar sits tilted against the wall. Its surface reflects the growing morning light, showing marks left by hands long ago, small ridges formed by the touch of clay and water, lines shaped by pressure, by time, by repetition. Those marks are silent stories. They tell nothing with urgency, yet they hold everything of the people who shaped them. A breeze moves through the alley, not the strong wind of midday, but the soft breath of morning, cool from hours of darkness. It travels slowly, sliding around corners, lifting small grains of dust, touching the wooden posts that hold an awning in place. The cloth above the entrance stirs just enough to shift the flow of light inside, that the goats beneath the awning remain asleep. Their bodies lie curled together for shared warmth, breaths deep and steady, their fur reflecting the faint glow of day. One of them moves its ear, a tiny motion, barely seen, but enough to show that the world outside has changed. Still, the animal does not rise. Morning has arrived, but the need to move has not. A donkey stands nearby, lifting its head slightly from the cool earth. Its eyes remain closed, nose pressed gently toward the ground, tail resting still. It senses the shift in air, a change too subtle to be called a breeze, but enough to carry the first warmth of morning. The animal breathes in, exhaling slowly as if choosing whether to begin the day. Inside the settlement, another room begins to stir. A woman sitting beside a child leans forward slightly, listening to the quiet. Not to the sound of voices, there are none. Not to footsteps, there are none, but to the presence of morning itself. She takes in a slow breath, holding it for a moment, allowing her thoughts to arrive gradually, like light forming over distant dunes. She does not speak. Words would be too heavy for this hour. Her body remains still until her mind settles into the rhythm of the day. Her first movement is a small one. She lifts a corner of the cloth covering her legs, pulling it gently aside. The motion is soft, as though she fears disturbing the air around her. Her feet touch the earth floor, cool beneath her skin, solid in a way that welcomes her weight. She pauses there, sitting, breathing, allowing her senses to accept the presence of the morning. The quiet holds her, surrounding every part of her with stillness. In this moment, even the thought of rising feels like a decision that must be made slowly. There is no reason to hurry. There is no schedule to keep. The day will unfold with or without haste. Outside the room, the sun has risen just enough to touch the tops of the walls. Thin lines of light slide downward along the clay surfaces, revealing textures in the mud brick, patterns left by tools and fingers. The memory of building, the memory of shaping a place for life to rest out in the courtyard. A woven cloth remains on the ground, holding the cold of the night that passed. The pattern within it is made from moderation, nothing bright, nothing that demands attention. Just lines and fibers forming a shape that has repeated itself through generations. It belongs to the rhythm of this place. Beside the cloth, a clay bowl of grain sits waiting. Its purpose is simple. It will become food, but not now. The grain rests, protected by silence, guarded by the patience of a morning that asks nothing of anyone. Above the rooftops, the sky has changed again. Pale gold deepens toward the center, spreading warmth into the thin dust that hangs above the land. The air glitters faintly when light passes through particles, too small to see directly, turning emptiness into a curtain of soft, shimmering haze. A man steps into this light. He moves slowly, his body shaped by the weight of sleep. He lowers his head as he exits his home, as though passing from one world into another, the dark quiet of rest into the muted glow of morning. His footsteps do not disturb the earth. They press gently into the dust, leaving subtle shapes that will soften as the day grows warmer. He pauses outside the door, not to look around, but to breathe. To feel the cool air brush against his skin, to let the first warmth of day settle gently on his shoulders. His eyes close for a moment, as if he has stepped into a memory he knows well, the memory of countless mornings just like this one. When he opens his eyes, he does not move immediately. He watches the light slide across the ground, moving in small steps, covering the crates beside the wall, touching the handle of a tool, finding its way into the grain of wood. The objects around him are still, yet morning shapes them with its quiet presence. He bends down to adjust the woven mat covering the doorway. His hands move slowly, almost carefully, as though this simple task requires full attention. The fibers shift, responding to the pull of his fingers, creating small patterns of shadow on the wall behind them. The settlement begins to wake in this way, not with noise, not with urgency, but through the quiet expansion of movement across a space that has rusted deeply through the night. One by one, doorways open, not wide, just enough to let the first breath of morning enter the rooms where dreams still linger. A child sits up, eyes half closed, cloth draped around their shoulders. They rub their face slowly with the back of their hand, as though trying to bring the shape of the world into focus. They look toward the light, but do not rise yet. The warmth is enough to hold them there, caught between moving forward and staying inside the comfort of their blanket. A mother kneels beside the clay oven, placing small twigs into the empty space. She works the way someone breathes, without thinking, without hurry. The twigs rest exactly where she places them, forming a shape she knows will carry flame. But she does not light it. Not yet. Morning is young, and nothing demands heat. Across the courtyard, a man pours a thin stream of water from one jar into another. The sound is soft, barely audible, but it joins the quiet in a way that feels like a rhythm. Water touches clay, clay holds water, and the morning continues. A bird calls again, a longer sound this time, rising from somewhere beyond the walls. Another bird responds, two faint voices woven into the gentle fabric of dawn. Their call does not break the silence. It becomes part of it, a single thread in the tapestry of morning. The sun has not fully risen. Its edge remains below the horizon, sending light without heat, presence without pressure. Shadows are long, colors are soft, movement is slow. This is the hour when the day begins in a world that understands patience. Tasks will be done, but only when the time reveals itself. Fire will be kindled, grain will be ground, hands will shape clay, but nothing will arrive before its moment. Here, morning is not a signal. It is an invitation to move slowly, to breathe deeply, to let the world unfold without haste. Morning arrives without asking, where dreams drift into light. Breathe softly and let the day unfold. The quiet shape of morning continues to expand across the settlement, bringing light into places that remained hidden through the long night. It is a soft arrival, more like a breath than a moment. Nothing breaks the silence. Nothing asks for speed. The day unfolds slowly, like cloth unfurling beneath the weight of dawn. The sky above the rooftops holds a deeper warmth now. What began as pale gold has thickened into a soft glow that settles across mud brick walls and broad clay surfaces. Edges sharpen slightly, showing the shape of wooden beams and woven mats. Each object seems to wake in its own time, as though the light itself has become a gentle hand, touching everything without forcing it to move. A woman kneels in the courtyard, the same quiet posture she held when she first rose. She has gathered a small bundle of dry grass and thin twigs, placing them in the hollow of a clay oven built into the wall. Her hands work slowly, without tension. Each piece finds its place as if guided by memory, the same motion repeated through many mornings. Many seasons she leans forward slightly, cupping her hand around a spark made from a thin stone struck against metal. The sound is soft, a quiet click that disappears almost instantly into the air around her. It is not a sound meant to be heard. It is a sound meant to begin the day. A single ember falls into the grass. At first it glows faintly, a color too small to call fire, too quiet to call flame. It rests within the dry fibers, breathing slowly, taking its time to become something more. The woman watches it without urgency, her eyes calm, her breath steady, her hands resting gently on her knees. She waits the way someone waits for sunrise, with the patience of a rhythm older than her own life. The ember expands. A small thread of smoke rises, curling upward through the still air. It moves like a memory thin, wandering, almost weightless. Light catches the smoke in a way that makes it shimmer against the shadowed walls of the courtyard. For a brief moment, it appears like a delicate cloth unrolling upward into the morning. Then the flame appears a soft, trembling glow. It is not strong. It does not leap. It grows the way morning grows, steadily, carefully, without need for haste. The woman adds another small piece of grass. The flame rises enough to warm her hands. She does not smile, but her breath deepens as if the presence of heat has completed some quiet circle inside her. Across the settlement, sounds begin to form, not loud, not sharp, but woven together into a slow morning rhythm. Somewhere, a clay jar touches stone. Somewhere else, a wooden door moves against its frame. A low murmur of footsteps passes through the dust, soft enough to feel like part of the ground and not a disturbance of it. A man emerges from the doorway of another home. He carries a clay jar against his hip, tilted slightly so that the weight is close to his body. His steps are slow, his feet pressing lightly into the earth that still holds the coolness of night. He walks with the confidence of someone who has walked this same path 1,000 times and never needed to think about the distance. His destination is not far, just beyond the corner of 2 narrow walls, where a small well holds water deep within clay-lined earth. He reaches the well, sets the jar down gently, and leans forward to draw water with the same motion that shaped his yesterday and will shape his tomorrow. The rope is rough, but his hands are familiar with its texture. He lifts carefully, hand over hand, letting the weight of water rise through the air. No effort is wasted. No movement is hurried. This is a task that belongs to morning, not to any moment before or after dawn when the jar is full. He rests for a moment, allowing his breath to settle into the rhythm of the work. The sound of water shifting inside the jar is soft, almost like the whispering of cloth. He lifts the jar again, pressing it against his side, and returns to his home with steps as steady as the path he walks dot in the courtyard. The fire has grown. A small flame flickers within the oven, gaining strength as it consumes the twigs arranged with such care. The woman adds a thicker piece of wood, watching as the flame accepts it slowly, not as fuel, but as a continuation of the same light that entered the room at dawn. A child steps out from the doorway, wrapped in a woven cloth. The child's eyes are half closed, as if the dream world still clings to the edges of sight. The warmth of the fire reaches the child's face. and the child moves closer without thinking, drawn by the same instinct that brings animals to the edge of water. The woman raises her hand gently, touching the child's shoulder. It is not a gesture to guide or instruct, but a simple presence, a confirmation that morning has arrived and that they are part of it together. Nearby, another small sound begins, a slow scraping, a rhythm made from grain and stone. A woman sits with a stone quern before her, pressing grain against the surface with steady, circular motion. The sound is quiet but constant, grain against stone, stone against grain. It is a sound older than any story told about this land. A sound that shaped the days of people who lived here before writing, before clay tablets, before names were carved into history. The rhythm is not a song, but it carries the same slow comfort. The child listens, eyes drifting toward the sound, as if the quiet rhythm were teaching the shape of morning. The child's breath matches the motion without effort, a reflection of the slow circle moving across stone. Above them, the sky deepens, pulling warmth into air still cool from the night. Shadows change shape, growing shorter as the sun rises slowly, placing light in every corner that remained hidden just an hour before. The animals stir. Goats stand, stretch their legs, and shake dust from thick coats. Their movements are small, as if waking itself were a ceremony to be done gently. A donkey lifts its head higher, blinking against the light that rests across its face. It steps forward just once, pressing its hoof into earth that remembers the weight of many hooves before this one. A potter steps into his workshop. He pauses in the doorway, letting the warmth of morning touch the tools resting along the wall. Dust has settled on the wheel, but the grooves remain visible lines cut into wood by the motion of hands and clay. The potter places his fingers against the surface, feeling the texture of work unfinished. Not with urgency, but with recognition, he sits, adjusting his body to the shape of the wheel, and begins to press clay between his hands. The clay is cool, soft by water drawn at dawn. His movements are unhurried, guided by memory rather than thought. The shape forming beneath his palms is ancient, a vessel made not for beauty, but for use, for holding water, for carrying grain, for joining life to the rhythm of day. The settling sounds of morning grow around him, soft footsteps on clay, grain circling on stone, a child's breath deepening in the warmth of the fire. Nothing here asks for noise. Nothing demands attention or haste. The day grows the way the flame grew from ember into light. A woman places a clay bowl near the fire, pouring water into its center. The steam rises slowly, curling upward with the same softness as the smoke did earlier. She adds grain by the handful, letting it fall into the warm water with steady motion. Each grain sinks without sound, becoming part of the morning in the simplest way. The child leans forward, watching steam rise, eyes still quiet, thoughts still drifting between dream and day. The warmth touches the child's face like a story, a wordless story told by heat, by breath, by the gentle circle of life beginning. The man returns with the jar of water. He sets it down beside the courtyard wall, lifting it again to fill smaller vessels, one for washing, one for cooking, one for the day ahead. Each movement is part of a pattern too familiar to need thought. Above the settlement, a bird circles against the warming sky. Its shadow passes across the clay walls, a soft shape sliding across earth that has seen countless shadows just like this one. Morning continues without announcement. The fire deepens, the bowl warms, the grain softens, the stone circles. The clay takes shape. Work here is not labor, it is rhythm shared by hands and light. And as the settlement moves fully into day, nothing feels separate from stillness. The quiet has changed, but it remains present, woven into motion, held in breath, carried through tasks that began long before anyone alive today was born. This is how morning becomes day in a world that honors time instead of chasing it. Let your breath follow that. Rhythm. Slow, steady, unhurried. Like water rising from the well. Like grain moving beneath stone. Like flame taking shape from a spark dot in this place. Day does not pull you forward. It arrives around you quietly, patiently, inviting you to rest deeper inside its warmth. Close your eyes for a moment longer. Feel the softness of the ancient morning. Let the steady work of hands and earth carry you toward calm. Here, the first fire of day is a promise that nothing needs to hurry, and everything can unfold slowly. Asterisk, the air continues to warm, not all at once, but layer by layer, as if the light itself were weaving a new skin around the settlement. Shadows soften along the walls, and the lines drawn in dust by footsteps at dawn begin to blur beneath the glow of rising heat in the workshop. The potter pauses, lifting his hands from clay, not to stop, but to listen to the distant rhythm of grain turning under stone, to the soft crackle of fire deep within the oven. Every sound is gentle, as if morning has taught the world to speak in whispers. Across the courtyard, steam rises from the bowl, meeting the light within. Swirling dance steam fades into the morning air. Even the light feels unhurried.